Just 1 minute before the chairman was reunited with his wife, the nurse came to tell him to go for a recheck, which meant the couple missed the chance to meet. The woman had originally planned to wait for him, but her son received a phone call saying the doctor was doing rounds, so they decided to go back to the ward first. The woman was disappointed that she had missed the chance to meet the person who had funded her surgery. As they walked out of the room, the chairman returned from his checkup and just barely missed them, leading to another missed opportunity for the couple to reunite. 3 days later, the chairman was discharged from the hospital. He decided to go to the old district to visit the graves of his wife and youngest son. A young man rode an electric bike and took him there. While the young man went to the restroom, the chairman noticed a man scavenging through the trash who seemed familiar. Upon approaching, he realized it was a neighbor from his old village. He asked the neighbor about the graves of his wife and youngest son. The neighbor became furious and insisted that his wife and youngest son were not dead. He had seen his wife just a few days ago. The chairman was overwhelmed with excitement to hear this news, but just as he was about to ask more questions, the neighbor's grandson arrived and claimed that his grandfather had dementia, so his words couldn't be trusted. Despite this, the chairman chose to believe that his wife and son were indeed dead. Meanwhile, the young man received a phone call from the village chief, asking him to pick up demolition compensation money at the village committee. The young man returned to the hospital and was discussing this with his mother when the eldest son barged in, holding the demolition contract and demanding that his mother sign it. The mother scolded him for being an unfilial wastrel, adamantly refusing to let him take the money. But the eldest son, taking advantage of being the eldest, forced her to sign despite the younger son's objections. In the end, the mother fainted from the stress. The young man, seeing this, became very worried. The eldest son, disappointed, left the room. When the mother regained consciousness, she was heartbroken. She vowed that she would never give the demolition money to the eldest son. She asked her youngest son to go to the village committee to collect the money the next morning. When the villagers heard about the eldest son causing trouble at the hospital the day before, they criticized him for being unfilial. To everyone's surprise, the eldest son barged in again, trying to take the $200,000 demolition compensation. The young man firmly refused. He also threatened to sue the eldest son. The eldest son, fearing that if a lawsuit was filed, he would have to share his 2 houses and $3 million with the young man, thought for a moment and decided to abandon his attempt to take the demolition money. His condition was that he no longer had any obligation to support his mother, and he proposed to sever ties with her. The village chief and others went to the hospital to serve as witnesses. The mother, holding the severance agreement in her hands, was deeply pained, but with her eldest son being so unfilial, she finally made the decision, signing the severance agreement. Meanwhile, the chairman arrived at the village committee, only to find it empty. He called and was told that everyone had gone to the hospital, so he had no choice but to return to the hotel. Just then, the eldest son called him to come to the villa. After severing ties with his mother, the eldest son planned to do the same with his father, so that he would no longer have any burdens. The chairman never expected the reason his eldest son had called him over was to sever their relationship as well. The eldest son falsely claimed that if the chairman signed the agreement, he would reveal where the graves were. Heartbroken, the chairman thought that even if he donated his entire $100 billion fortune, he would never give a single cent to this unfilial son. He signed the severance agreement without hesitation. However, the eldest son went back on his word, refusing to tell him where the graves were. The chairman became furious. Meanwhile, the young man returned on his electric bike to pick him up. He explained that he had been delayed by some matters earlier, but would now take him to the village committee to meet the village chief, who might know something about his wife and youngest son. After dropping the chairman off at the village committee, the young man left. Soon, the village chief appeared and stepped out of the car. The chairman turned around and recognized him immediately. It was his cousin, who had thought he had died all these years. To his surprise, the chairman was still alive. The chairman finally reunited with his youngest son. Looking at his wife who had just undergone surgery and was still unconscious, he felt extremely anxious. While waiting, he learned through his youngest son that his wife's illness was caused by being upset by the eldest son. The chairman was well aware that the eldest son was ungrateful. The next moment, the eldest son and his wife barged into the hospital room, shouting for his mother to wake up and sign the demolition contract. They wanted to seize the $2 million demolition compensation. This infuriated the chairman, but they had always thought of their father as a poor man. They never took their father seriously. The eldest son even tried to drag his unconscious mother up to sign. Fortunately, the youngest son stopped him in time. He raised a chair, intending to strike. This scared the eldest son, who immediately took his wife and left the room. The chairman thought they would definitely come back, so he called and arranged for bodyguards to protect them. Soon after, the woman woke up. She was extremely emotional to see her husband standing before her, because the eldest son had deceived them, making her believe her husband had died. Now, the family was reunited. The chairman still did not reveal his true identity. He only promised that he would never let the eldest son bully them again. He also vowed to let them enjoy their wealth. A few days later, the chairman took his wife and youngest son back to the villa. They were stunned when they saw the luxurious villa, because this was the Cloud Mansion community, where the least wealthy residents had a net worth of at least $1 billion. The chairman explained that he had made a bit of money from overseas investments. Just then, the eldest son called again. He threatened his mother to quickly go to the village committee and sign the demolition papers. Then, he demanded the $2 million compensation be transferred to him. He wanted to use the money to attend a bidding conference for the Dingsheng Group. The chairman, upon hearing this, was enraged. He firmly stated that he would not give give the money to him. After hanging up the phone, the youngest son was worried that the eldest son would not give up. He thought about taking the demolition money and transferring it to the eldest son. His father immediately stopped him. He claimed that over the years, he had already transferred $30 million to the eldest son. He originally intended for this money to be used for their family's living expenses, but the eldest son had taken it all for himself. Thinking of this, the chairman was very angry. He vowed that the eldest son's business deal would never go through. On the other side, the eldest son and his wife were discussing how to attend tomorrow's bidding conference. If they could strike a good relationship with the chief engineer of Dingsheng Group, they would be able to enter high society. Little did they know that the chief engineer they were talking about was the chairman, who was also their despised poor father. The next day, the chairman brought his youngest son to the bidding conference. Just as they were about to enter, the eldest son arrived. The eldest son first insulted them, claiming that no matter how they dressed in suits, they were still poor. He then mocked them for not having invitations and not being able to get in. The youngest son had always thought his father brought him there to find a job. Thinking there was no invitation, he thought about going home instead. But his father said that with him around, they would never need to work again in 10 lifetimes, and that he didn't need an invitation to enter the conference. But the next second, they were stopped at the door by 2 security guards. They were then mocked by the eldest son and his family. The chairman was very angry. He immediately instructed the security to call the manager to come and see him.